Blitzkrieg was a military tactic that involved using fast and powerful attacks to surprise and overwhelm the enemy. Nazi Germany used it in the early years of World War II, and it changed the way wars were fought. But what exactly was a blitzkrieg, and how did it work? Blitzkrieg was based on the idea of combining different types of forces, such as tanks, planes, artillery, and infantry, to create a coordinated and concentrated strike. The main goal was to break through the enemy's defenses, disrupt their communications, and encircle and destroy their units. Blitzkrieg also relied on speed, mobility, and surprise, to catch the enemy off guard and prevent them from regrouping or counterattacking. Blitzkrieg was not a new concept, but rather a development of previous military theories and practices. One of the main influences was the German general Karl von Clausewitz, who wrote in the 19th century that the best way to win a war was to focus on the enemy's center of gravity, or the most important source of their strength, and strike it with a decisive blow. Another influence was the British general J.F.C. Fuller, who advocated for using tanks and planes to create a new form of warfare that would bypass the trenches and fortifications of World War I. The Germans also learned from their own experience and experiments in the interwar period. They realized that they needed to modernize their army and adopt a more flexible and mobile strategy, as they faced the limitations imposed by the Treaty of Versailles, which restricted their military size and equipment. They also tested their new tactics and weapons in the Spanish Civil War, where they supported the fascist rebels led by Francisco Franco. The first major demonstration of Blitzkrieg was in the invasion of Poland in 1939, which marked the beginning of World War II. The German army, led by generals like Heinz Guderian and Erich von Manstein, used their panzer divisions, or armored units, to punch through the Polish lines and advance deep into their territory. They also used their Luftwaffe, or air force, to bomb and strafe the Polish positions and cities, and to provide close air support to the ground troops. The Polish army, which was outnumbered and outmatched, could not resist the German onslaught and was defeated in less than a month. The success of Blitzkrieg continued in the following campaigns, as the Germans conquered Norway, Denmark, Belgium, the Netherlands, Luxembourg, and France in 1940. One of the most impressive feats of Blitzkrieg was the invasion of France, which was considered to have the strongest army in Europe. The Germans surprised the French and the British by attacking through the Ardennes forest, a region that was thought to be impassable for tanks. They then crossed the Meuse River and reached the English Channel, cutting off the Allied forces in northern France. The French government surrendered on June 22, 1940, after only 6 weeks of fighting. However, Blitzkrieg was not invincible, and it faced several challenges and limitations as the war progressed. One of the main problems was the lack of resources and logistics, as the Germans could not sustain their rapid advance for long, and often ran out of fuel, ammunition, and supplies. Another problem was the resistance and adaptation of the enemy, who learned from their defeats and developed new tactics and weapons to counter the German threat. For example, the British managed to evacuate most of their troops from Dunkirk and later fought back against the German air raids in the Battle of Britain. The Soviet Union also endured the initial German invasion in 1941, and eventually turned the tide of the war with the help of their harsh winter, their vast territory, and their massive production of tanks and planes. The United States also entered the war in 1941, and provided crucial aid and support to the Allies. By the end of the war, the Germans had lost their advantage and initiative, and were forced to fight a defensive war on multiple fronts. Their blitzkrieg tactics became less effective and more costly, as they faced superior enemy forces and firepower. The final defeat of Nazi Germany came in May 1945, after the Allies captured Berlin and Hitler committed suicide. Blitzkrieg was a revolutionary and influential military tactic that shaped the course of World War II. It showed the importance of using combined arms, speed, and surprise to achieve decisive victories. It also inspired and challenged other nations to develop their own strategies and technologies for modern warfare. Blitzkrieg was a lightning war, but it also sparked a firestorm that changed the world. Thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please like, share, and subscribe for more untold history. See you next time.